If you are anything like me, you've tried to lose weight a million times and you have probably gone back to calorie counting over and over and over again because that is what you hear you're supposed to do. Eat less calories, move more, and you will lose weight. But that never worked for me because I became obsessive with the numbers, because I was probably not tracking right, because it always led me to a binge that I didn't track and I pretended didn't count. And then the scale wouldn't move. Or I would have a stretch where I would do it perfectly and I would see the scale move. But then once I stopped counting calories, it went right back up again. But I am here to tell you today that you don't have to count calories to lose weight. I am living proof. I have lost over 70 pounds without counting calories, and I just had to educate myself a little bit and stay patient and consistent to do it. So today I'm going to just chat with you about how I lost weight without counting calories. So the first thing you need to know is you need to educate yourself about calorie density. Calorie density essentially is just how many calories is packed into a certain volume of food. Some food has less calories for more volume, and some foods have more calories for less volume. So obviously, you're gonna wanna focus on those foods that have more volume, less calories, than the ones that have less calories, more volume. Does that make sense? So basically what that means is I could have 200 calories worth of broccoli, or I could have 200 calories worth of Oreos. Which pile do you think is going to be bigger? Probably the broccoli, right? So you can eat more volume of the broccoli for less calories than you could for the Oreos. But the key is pairing these foods correctly. I'm not telling you not to eat the Oreos and only to eat the broccoli. It's just knowing how to put these together in a way that's actually going to support weight loss in the long run. If you want to dig more into calorie density, watch the video that I have tagged down in the description. I dig into it a ton so you can learn a little bit more about what that means when you're trying to build your plates. So basically, when you are trying to make meals, when you have weight loss as a goal, you're gonna wanna focus on the lower calorie dense foods. But you're also gonna wanna pair it with some of the higher calorie dense foods on the opposite side because satiation is so important. That means that you're feeling satisfied and not just full. Because if I sat down and I just ate a whole bowl of broccoli, that may stretch out my stomach and make me feel full, but at the end of the meal, I'll feel so stuffed, but I still won't feel satisfied, and I'm still gonna be looking for something else to eat because I didn't hit all the nutrients that I need in that meal. So the key is eating those low calorie dense vegetables, the fruits, those types of foods, but pairing it with a protein and a starch as well. Potatoes are absolutely great for this because they are lower on the calorie density scale, but they are so satiating. You could eat a pound of potatoes for between 300 and 350 calories. That's a lot of potatoes for one meal, and you're still only around 350 calories. Like, that is not much. You can pair a ton of other stuff with that and feel extra satisfied. And then you're gonna wanna give yourself some protein and a little bit of fat. Having the mix of all these macronutrients is what is gonna make you feel full and satisfied and keep you full until your next meal. So it's important when you're building your meals to kind of have a base knowledge of what you need your plate to look like. Half of your plate being like non-starchy vegetables is a great place to start. Pairing it with a starch like potatoes is a great addition, and then a little bit of a protein. You can add on dressings and sauces. That can include your fat if you want that to be your fat source, but you want your food to taste good. You want to feel satisfied so that you can build plates like this for the long run. So after you know the basics of how to build your plate, what your meals should look like, that is when tracking comes in. When you're not counting calories, you still have to pay attention to the data because if you want to lose weight, essentially you need to be eating less calories than you're burning. And that kind of feels counterintuitive here. Like, maybe I should be tracking my calories because how do I know how much I'm eating if I am not tracking, right? But there's other ways to monitor your progress, and this is what is important. So what I do is I step on my scale every single day. I see what my weight is every single day, and there's fluctuations on there. So from the day to day, that's not giving me a whole ton of information. It could just be telling me that I ate a really salty soup the day before. Like, it could tell me that I just need to go to the bathroom, and like it could be different in 10 minutes. Like, there's a lot of fluctuation on the day to day there. But when you zoom out, it's going to give you a general idea if that zigzaggy line is going straight, if it's going down, if it's going up, if it's going like steps, which is kind of what my weight does. It drops in steps. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. They'll feel like they're plateaued. All of a sudden they'll drop. They'll feel like they're plateaued. All of a sudden they'll drop. And that is what you need to look at to monitor if you are actually eating what you need to be eating. If you're seeing that trend over time, I'm talking 4 to 6 weeks, you got to be watching this and you got to be checking it. You can't go day to day. You got to zoom out. So if that is going down, then you're eating in a calorie deficit, even though you're not tracking calories. If it's staying straight, then you're eating in your maintenance calories, even though you're not tracking them. If it's going up, you're eating too much. And that is when you need to make your tweaks. So when it comes to making tweaks, if that scale isn't going the direction you want it to go, less is more. What you have to think of is, what can I add to crowd out the higher calorie dense foods? That would be more veggies, more fruits, maybe less processed foods. And you don't need to eliminate things so extremely. You just need to maybe tweak the portions on your plate a little bit, or make sure you're not taking bites of your kid's food, or make sure you're not licking the peanut butter spoon after you make a PB&J, or things like that, and you don't have to do this. This is something that I have found has been pretty helpful for me. So I take pictures of my meals so that I can go back and look at them and I can see where I might need to adjust things. Like maybe I'm using a little bit too much of a cashew-based sauce on meals throughout the week, and maybe I need to cut back on that fat so that lowers the calorie density of my meals. Maybe I catch myself, taking nibbles of my kids' snacks. Maybe little things like that you can tweak. It's easier to make small changes and then reassess in a couple weeks instead of just like jumping on a new diet or like eliminating like a food group completely. You don't want to do anything too extreme because it's not something that you're going to be able to be consistent with for a length of time. Other ways that you can track your progress include taking photos of yourself. It includes taking measurements. You can measure and see if you're making changes, but again, it has to be like on at least a month span to see if you're actually making a difference or not. How your clothes fit, how's your digestion, how's your energy, how's your cravings, are you wanting to snack a lot? These are all things to pay attention to. If you can keep yourself a journal, if you can write down your notes, even better that you can look back through the month and see if you're doing things the way you want to be doing them. And then another thing that I use is, I've talked about this before, I have one of the Hume Body Pod scales, and I use that to weigh myself every single day, but also tracks my body fat on my body, it tracks my muscle mass, it tracks my water weight. So I can have even more data to look back at and see, like maybe the scale's not moving, but maybe I've gained a little bit of muscle, or maybe I've lost a little bit of fat, and things like that are good resources to have if that's available to you as well. I do have a coupon code for that. It's not sponsored, but I do get a kickback if you use it. And it's also covered under FSA and HSA accounts in the United States. So if you want to have a little bit more information, that is a really good resource to have. But it's important when you're looking back at this data that you remember you need to zoom out, you need to look at the big picture, you need to adjust and change as needed based on at least a month of information at a time. And you need to remember that this information is not emotional. It is just neutral information. It's literally looking at it and analyzing and just having that analytical brain when you're looking at this information. Pretend it's not even you. You look at it, you say, okay, the numbers are going up or the numbers are going down, keep doing what I'm doing, or I need to change this, this, and this, and then move forward. So if that scale's not moving down, you sat down, you analyzed things, your trend is not going down like you want it to, these are things that you can adjust to get that scale moving again. Think to yourself, am I eating enough low calorie dense, high volume foods? Could I eat more of those foods? Am I snacking between meals? What am I snacking on? Am I snacking on junk food, or am I snacking on just mini meals like potatoes and veggies or fruit? Have my portion sizes creeped up? Have I been eating more starches and less veggies recently? Has my movement changed? Am I not getting as many steps as I used to? Am I picking at food or grazing more than I realize? These are all things that you should sit down and kind of think about to yourself, and then you're going to adjust from there. So a few simple adjustments that you could possibly make are adding more veggies in your meals, adding more potatoes in your meals, maybe increasing your protein just slightly. Maybe you need to increase your steps a little bit. But what you shouldn't do is think about foods as good or bad. You shouldn't give up and start on Monday. You shouldn't try to eliminate foods completely from your diet. I mean, this is a vegan channel, so obviously there's no animal products here, but I should have said that at the beginning. The goal here is to eliminate an emotional tie to the information and become more analytical with the data that you're collecting. Think of yourself as like a mini science experiment. Every day you're collecting data. You're collecting your weight. You're watching your food. You're playing around with your plates. You're experimenting. You're making it fun. You're not eliminating. You're thinking of what you can add to your plate to kind of crowd out that other stuff without even like noticing. And if the scale's not moving, if you're feeling like you failed, just think of it as okay, that did not go as planned, but I'm a scientist and I am going to figure out what is going to work. So instead of saying I failed, you can look at it and say, well, that didn't work this week. What am I going to try next week? When you feel like you failed, you're going to look at the data with an analytical mind, and you're not going to beat up on yourself. You're not going to think I failed. You're going to look at it and say, well, that didn't work. Now what? And you're going to make one of those little tweaks, and then you're going to let that ride out for a few weeks, and then you're going to assess again. You really have to go at this with a curious mind. Pay attention to your hunger signals. Don't ignore them. When you ignore them, that is when you spiral. That is when you snack on something you didn't want to snack on. Pay attention to the meals that you're feeling the most satisfied after. Maybe eat them on repeat if that works for you. Pay attention to your emotional triggers. Pay attention to your habits. Are you feeling like you need something sweet after dinner every single night? Work with that. Plan a healthy dessert. Maybe make dessert part of your dinner. That's something that I like to do. I like to just make my dinner portion a little bit less when I know I'm going to want a dessert, and then I just pretend it's all one big dinner, but it's really dessert. Weight loss just works best when you embrace some patience, a little bit of kindness, and you think of yourself as information, like a science experiment. And when you think about it this way, it ends up being kind of like a fun game, like what's going to happen this week? Is the scale going to go up? Is it going to go down? Well, that didn't work. Look at the big picture. It's just about putting on your little scientist jacket and paying attention. So I hope this helps a little bit. I know it's very nitty-gritty, fast and furious type of information that I'm just kind of throwing at you, but this is the basis of what helped me lose the 73 pounds that I've lost. I went about things with an analytical mind. I went about things in a way where I wasn't putting emotions on the number from the scale, where I tracked my food, I tracked my weight, I looked at it, I zoomed out whenever I got upset, and I said, okay, the scale's going up, I should change something, or the scale's going down, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It's just a process. Learn about calorie density, learn how to track your metrics, build meals that work for you, that you enjoy eating, that you can make easily, that follow that basic framework, track your trends, don't worry about being perfect, and adjust with curiosity. This is ultimately how I lost the weight I lost. I went about it with a curious mind. And most importantly, I stopped feeling at war with myself and food. I kept my food simple. I ate meals on repeat. I monitored and changed as needed, and I still do this today. I'm still on my journey, and I am still zooming out and looking at it and adjusting where I need to. And it gets harder as you get further on in your journey, but it's not impossible. And I'm excited to be on this journey with you. If you want me to dig more into this, I know this was just a lot of information thrown at you very quickly. If you want me to dig more, let me know what part of this you're just really interested in or you need to know more about. Make sure you check those videos in my description. I've got one on calorie density that will help you learn a little bit more about how to build your plates that I think will be really helpful for you. And thank you so much for being here on this journey with me. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.